Cloud robot. Oh. Hi guys, this is DJ down at Vapor93, your resident build wizard. I'm here to bring you another review on the Infinite CLT2 Addy and a build. We're going to do a parallel 24 gauge, 4 wrap around a 3/32 drill bit. If I'm guessing correctly, it should be around a 0.1 ohms resistance, so pretty hot. So yeah, stay tuned. Let's get into the build.
I'm a wizard, wizard, a wizard, wizard, a wizard man. I'm a wizard, wizard, a wizard, wizard, a wizard man. I'll melt your brains. A wizard, wizard, wizard man am I.
So today, the tools that we're going to be using for this build are flat-nosed non-tooth pliers, needle nose pliers, standard and a small flathead screwdriver, 3/32 drill bit, long-toothed tweezers, fancy Conair hair snipping scissors, and diagonal cutters. And the materials that we're going to be using are 24 gauge Kanthal and an organic unbleached cotton ball. Alright, so this is what we're going to do. So this build is a 24 gauge parallel build. Pretty simple, but I like tweaking it a few different ways to kind of make it easier and cut down my build time a lot. So what I start with is, with this Kanthal having a natural bend from being on the spool, what I like to do is kind of make that go out right there and force it to kind of get back straight again, so it's much easier to manipulate. So I'll grab that. I like doing tweezers in order to get the actual parallel piece down, and I fold one end around the other like that. And you'll see why I do that, or you can probably tell already. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and straighten that out a little bit more. I'll take my flat nose pliers and I'll put it right here and go ahead and use just a little bit of the needle nose to kind of force these two together, pinch them together. You gotta apply pressure with these, because if you don't apply pressure and you squeeze these, it'll go ahead and spin out on you, and gets to be a pain having to constantly readjust it. So I'll take it just like that. That little split's all right. Once you're wrapping it, you'll kind of be able to correct it back into shape. So what I'll do is I'll grab my 3/32 drill bit, have my Kanthal, and I'll just start wrapping just like I would with regular Kanthal. That's not bent in two. So I'll go like that. Do another. We're gonna do a 4 wrap today. There's a little distance in between your coils, that's all right. It kind of all gets corrected when you heat them up and pinch them together. So I leave my opposing sides like that. And what I do, straighten that back out a little bit. I pull them out just enough so that I can get these in there and bend it forward. It really makes the coil sit pretty flush and look good. So then what I'll do is pull these out and do the same thing and put it all together. Just like that right there. Now with the atomizer that we're going to be building on the CLT2, you'll notice what I like doing is skipping one of these center posts. With this split block right here, it makes it really, really easy to do builds like this where you have 2 leads going into the positive. Because if you don't have to share the 2, then it just makes it tons and tons easier to actually be able to put the build in. So what I'm going to do right here, as you can tell, it's not going to be able to fit from this positive to the negative, so I'm just going to do a little bend in the negative lead to be able to get it out looking all nice. Alright, so just like that right there. And then I'll bring this around like that. Bring that back around this way, get a little 90-degree bend. And doesn't have to look perfect, but clean is best. Okay, I like kind of cutting these leads back a little bit. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now what I'll do is I'll go ahead and feed this one coil in the negative post, and then it fits right into the positive right there. So the benefit of having a split block like this is that usually when you're using like a typical 3-post design and you have to share the center, you can't actually tighten that center down with the one coil to put the other one in. So what I'm gonna do is tighten down both of these, just like that, and like that right there. You'll see this lead kind of pop up when it's nice and tight. So I'll go ahead and straighten this coil out a little bit with the drill bit in there. And I'm gonna lower it just like that right there, because what that does is it gets the airflow directly on the coil. And like I said, these little spaces in between kind of go away when you're piecing it together. Trim that back. And what I'm gonna do is do the same thing with this coil, but yeah, I'll hurry up a little bit and get it all done. Alright, so now that this coil's built, go ahead and trim those leads back a little bit. Do the same on this side. A couple things I want to point out on this RDA while I'm here is the split post design. Something that Infinite has done very well with their CLT line atomizers is that they've kind of taken aspects out of all of the different atomizers that exist and kind of combined them all together into something that's very user-friendly and very effective. So what they've taken is split block design. That was in the first CLT, kind of modeled after the Plume Veil, which is the more popular split center post design atomizers. And then what they also took from the Plume Veil on the CLT2 is the little air hole coming from the side. And you'll see when I put that top cap back down what I'm talking about. They also have done this heat sink right on the bottom right here that's very similar to the Vulcan RDA. So it kind of reduces the heat that gets transferred from your coils and your atomizer to your mod, so hopefully your mod doesn't get quite as hot as it has before. We read out at a 0.10 even on this, so it's a pretty hot build. That parallel, it kind of gives it that real quick heat up and low resistance. So the benefit of that is that you have good vapor production, large surface area, and just all over decent cloud production. So we'll go ahead and do that, turn this back off. I'm gonna go ahead and put a battery in my mod right here, and we'll fire it up and heat up these coils. So this fancy little beast that I'm putting it on is the Authentic Cartel mod. It's one of those very rare fancy mods that only a few places are able to carry, and just fantastic overall quality, and you'll see a review posted a little bit later about this beauty right here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is heat up these coils a little bit, pinch them together, and kind of get rid of those nasty spaces. What I'm going to go ahead and do is wick this beast. So what I like doing when I wick these is I unroll the cotton ball, unravel it, and then I tear a little piece off and split that in half. And it's damn near perfect to go ahead and fit in a 3/32 inch coil. So I'm gonna go ahead and do is kind of spread that apart a little bit, like that. These fine edges, I kind of bend it over and put it through. I'm gonna take my tiny standard screwdriver, kind of fold it up and around, making sure not to block my little air holes that are on each side right here. All done. Let's juice this beast. All right, so we're gonna give this thing a little test. Wow. Yeah, that is almost too hot to vape right there. This build is very, very low resistance around that 0.1 like I showed you guys earlier. But yeah, it is definitely the flavor makes it, and the flavor's by Tony Montana. It's his Girl Scout cookies. It's like a thin mint flavor. Fantastic juice as usual. So, little shout out to Tony, repping the hat. All right, but yeah, a little bit more detail about this atomizer. You can see a few things about it, like I mentioned earlier, about how they've kind of taken styles from different RDAs, and you can see the heat sink right on the bottom right here. It's very, very similar to the Vulcan style. So you can see typical CLT, Cyclops front, and then with that little airflow on the bottom like that plume veil. It also features the removable top cap, which has optional airflow controls. Obviously with this build I'm going to run it with the wide open right there, but you also get this little 2-circle option to kind of close it off, which is really nice that you can run these as well. All right, also has its own unique size drip tip. So you can see that's extremely, extremely wide bore. Very nice, not quite chuffed, but very, very, very wide. And it's pretty much all you need with something that's built like this. So yeah, CLT2, fantastic atomizer. You can come pick it up today down at Vapor 93. They retail for around $50, and it is a fantastic atomizer. I highly recommend it to someone. It's for $50. It's actually a very, very fair priced, authentic RDA, and it's something that's very, very well crafted and put together. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of a machining nerd. I like good machining and good quality products, and Infinite has definitely delivered on its product right here. So yeah, this has been DJ down at Vapor 93 in Rockland, and vape on.